Welcome to a simple CSS Flexbox video tutorial. So today we will be discussing about some of the Flexbox properties like flex, align items, flex direction, order, justify content, and wrap properties. So in this tutorial we will be using Sublime Text for our editor and Mozilla Firefox for our browser. So let's start. So first example, so this will be our final output. So composed of three sections: the main column, the sidebar 1, and then the sidebar 2. So, okay, let's start. So first, let's add a class and let's name it into flex container. You can name it anything you want. Okay, so under the flex container, we will add another class, and this time let's name it as main column. Again, you can name it whatever you want. Then under the main column, let's add header 1, and let's put here main column. So that is our header 1, and you can just add anything, any content that you want, that you wish to put in your website. So, and actually let's just copy paste anything about Flexbox. Okay, so that ends the class main column. So let's add another class. Remember that we have three sections. So the first section is the main column, and this one, let's name it as sidebar 1. So under the sidebar 1, let's just copy anything under the main column class, just except the header 1. Let's name it as sidebar 1. So the content and main column class, let's just copy paste. So again, so that is sidebar 1. So let's just copy paste anything under the main column class. So again, we have 3. So let's add one more div class. This time, let's name it as sidebar 2. Then its content will just be the same as in sidebar 1 and main column classes. Let's just change the header 1 into sidebar 2. So that's it. So we already have 3 columns. Let's save it. Let's name it as sample1.html. Okay. So when we execute the our HTML file, this will be the output. So we have 3 sections. Okay, so let's create another file. This time, this will save it as a CSS file. So save as main.css. So you can name it anything you want. So it is very important the two files, the CSS file and the HTML file, is in one directory. So let's start. Let's call the class flex container here, and also let's add another flex container div. So this block will affect the entire flex container class. So whatever settings we will be putting in this block will be applied to the entire flex container class, while the flex container div will focus on the individual div class under the flex container class. Remember that we have three classes that we have put inside our flex container: main column class. So this will affect only the main column class. Anything under the main column class, then we also have sidebar 1, and it will only be applied, of course, to the sidebar 1 class. And remember that we should always be careful with our spelling and the casing of our class name, because it is case sensitive. And also we have here, the last one is the sidebar 2. It will only affect the sidebar 2 class. So let's now connect the CSS file to our HTML file by typing link, and the reference is the file name of our CSS, which is the main.css. Okay, so let's start. So let's put the display into Flex. So let's save this one, and let's see what will happen to our. So that is our output when we display into Flex, the Flex container class. As I have said, anything that we put in the Flex container block will affect the entire Flex container class. So let's get to the Flex container div. So let's put border, and also a padding. So this these settings will only affect the Flex container div. So each of the div class inside the Flex container class will be affected by these settings that we put in the Flex container div block. Okay, so let's save this, and let's see what will happen to our output. So we have now the borders, and also the padding has been applied. So let's try to tweak the main column class by setting flex into 1, the sidebar 1 class, flex into 2, or just maybe, and sidebar 2 flex. So let's save this, and let's see what will happen. So nothing. So let's change the settings. So let's change the main column class into flex. Let's set the flex into 2. So let's see what will happen. So that gives the main column section or main column class bigger part because we have set it into 2. So let's make it more bigger. So let's set it into 3. Let's see what will happen. So okay, so let's try the flex direction. So let's set it into column and let's save this. Let's try what will happen. So it will align into column, not side by side. So let's try the column reverse flex direction property. Let's save this and let's see what will happen. So as you can see, the sections have been reversed in order. So let's try flex direction row. So let's save this and let's refresh. So that will happen. So that is the default. So let's make it reverse. Let's save that. As you can see, it has reversed the order of the sections or the classes. So that is the flex direction. So what if you wanted to specify the order of each section? So we just make use of the order property. Let's set the main column section into order set to 2, sidebar 1 set to 1, and then sidebar 2 order set to 3. So let's save this and let's see what will happen. So the sidebar 1 is now in the first order, the main column is in the second, and the sidebar 2 is in the third and last order. So let's tweak it more. So let's make the main column into the third order, the sidebar 1 into the second, and the sidebar 2 into the first. So save, fresh. So that will happen. So that is the order property. Then let's make use of the align items property. So let's set the align items into center, save, and let's see what will happen. So aside from center, you can also set that into flex, start. Let's save this one. Let's see what will happen. We also have here flex end. Let's save this, refresh. So that's the output. You can also make use of baseline. Save that and let's see what's the output. So the same. And also we also have a stretch. Let's save that and let's see the output. It's okay. So another property. So let's add an additional container. The same with the first container we have. So let's just copy paste. So in here we have flex container 1 and under Flex Container 1, we have three classes named box 1. So they are all named as box 1 for easy access later. So let's save that and let's see what is the output. So as you can see, the same, however there is still no flex settings. So let's add here that flex container 1, our new container class div, so that whatever settings we put in flex container div will be applied in flex container 1 div. They will be having same settings. So let's save that and let's see what will happen. So there you go. So as you can see, we still don't set the display of flex container 1 class, the new class we have added into flex. So let's set display into flex for the flex container 1 class. So let's save this. Let's refresh for our output. So okay, we have the same output now. So notice that we have the same three classes with the same name, box 1. So let's add settings below. So let's set the width into let's say 200 pixel. Let's save that and let's see what will happen. So there we go. So let's make use the justify content property of the Flexbox. So let's set that into flex end and let's see what will happen. Okay, so it aligned on the end. We also have here flex start and also center and we also have here space around. So it will be up to you what you will be using for your website. You can also make use of the space between. So that was the justify content property of Flexbox. So now let's try the wrap property. So first let us copy or add another flex container. This time we'll name it as flex container 2. So this flex container 2 class will have 6 classes, 4, 5, 6. So we'll just name it under box 2. So for again easy access, so they'll have the same name. Let's save this and let's see what is the output. So below the first sections we have added, we have an additional 6 sections. So let's try to apply the same settings to flex container to div, same as the flex container div and flex container 1 div. Okay, so let's save this and let's refresh. So as you can see, we already have the border. Then it's not yet in flex. We did not yet set display into flex for flex container 2. So let's add flex container 2 and let's set display into flex. So this block of codes for flex container 2 will only affect the flex container class. So let's see. Let's refresh. And so we have already applied the flex settings. If you can see, the sections, the new 6 sections we have added are not in wrap mode because we did not yet set the wrap property for flex container 2. So remember that we have 6 classes named box2 under the flex container 2. So let's just set the width into perhaps 100. Okay, so let's save this and let's refresh. So, okay, so we have now set the width. Let's now set the flex wrap into wrap. Let's see what will happen. Let's save this, then let's refresh. So let's try. So if you can see, the 6 sections that we have added and set into wrap are one by one aligning into column, unlike the above sections that we did not yet set the wrap property. So that is the wrap property of the Flexbox. So thank you for watching this simple video tutorial about Flexbox. See you next time.